Hey guys, I'm Jay Blunt with Disrupt Their Faith podcast. And on this week's episode, we're talking about the sizzling series on Netflix, Love is Blind, for our hot takes. And we're also going to be talking about worship. What is worship? Are we doing it right?
Come on.
We're digging in it. Like, what does it look like? And how can worship evolve from where it is right now? We're really getting into it, asking some cool conversations. We want to know what you think too, so listen up.
All right. Let's try this again. Amen. Now, all right, hello? Freaking technology devil is in the building. Hold on, I'll wait this one up. Hello? All right. There we go. All right, episode 58 of the Disrupt Their Faith podcast, where we're having honest and necessary conversations about what it means to be a Christian. Conversations that you might not be having in your local Sunday morning service. I'm one of your hosts, Tech, along with
Fred Green
and
Jay Blunt.
in the building. So I don't know if we should revisit
Let's do it.
that. Trying to motivate the guys. Okay, last weight loss competition, I won.
Oh, come on.
No, you did not win.
Everybody.
You did not win.
And they refused
Tell the truth.
to do it again.
Tell the truth.
I was-
Shame the devil.
I was cheated on the technicality.
Okay. You did that.
What was the technicality?
The technicality was I became like The Rock
No, you
and
did.
put on like 30 pounds of muscle, 40.
Oh, okay.
And then Jason just power walked twice a day.
That's not true.
That's not true.
And then Fred, he
I lost more weight than you.
Fred lost 5 times the amount of weight you lost. I lost.
I have pictures.
I can't even do the math. How much weight I lost in comparison to yours.
I have comparison pictures.
Your
If you want to
calculator.
pull up receipts, you know.
I have nudes.
You
Oh.
have nudes.
Okay, sorry. All right.
That's like
Like
you might have to start over.
yeah.
Pastor Jay, how's your week going, sir?
Oh man, I feel like I just seen you guys. But week's going cool. We just started Bible study back at Chick-fil-A.
That's what's up.
So it was good seeing the folks at the church Wednesday, which was yesterday. And it was cool. Week's kind of chill. Yeah.
Amen. Pastor Green.
Week was good. I got good news.
Uh-oh.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
I
that's good
got Sound Slice, the company that I've been using on my Instagram. Basically, I'm going to get an interview.
What?
They're going to interview me, so it's really cool.
Is it just gonna be over the phone or actual like
Well,
person?
they asked me they want to do it over the phone or do like a by email.
Skype or-
Yeah, Skype.
Okay.
Skype or email. I picked the email because I'd rather see the questions first so I can figure out how I'm gonna answer it.
Fred
Yeah,
Green.
that's a true Fred
You
Green.
can do it both ways though. You can ask them to shoot you the email first.
Yeah, but that's true too. But I still rather do it on just text my
coming
answers.
up in these streets.
But yeah, so it's very humbling. And I was just looking at the questions before we got started. It's so weird. Like they kind of scanned my page and kind of just saw some things so they could ask me like personal questions. I thought it was gonna be like more general questions, but it's just like questions based upon like the stuff I've been doing and stuff like that. So it was real cool.
Nice.
It was a good week.
Congratulations, Fred.
Oh, thank you, appreciate it.
And for people who don't know, Sound Slice, what do they do?
Oh, Sound Slice is it's like a music notation type of website. So basically, yeah, I know like that didn't help out.
No. I was just
It's a music notation website. Basically, I use that to notate music and then sync videos to it to make it, presentable and, look nice for people.
That Fred's killing the game.
killing it. It's
no.
so weird. Last season,
Last
Fred
season.
still doesn't, but didn't even.
I don't have a web.
You didn't even know his Instagram handle.
That's true.
I still don't.
One of his videos has like 75,000 views, I think.
Mhm.
Crazy.
Crazy.
We got 98,000. We had 98,000. I've been counting. I've been looking on
Oh,
Sounds
man.
like.
And people are following you though? Are they?
Yeah, I have gotten the last one that was featured. I got a lot of followers. At one point, it was like 1,500 new profile visits, and I got a lot of followers
Crazy.
that one
Nice.
in that week. So it was
Brand
good.
is killing the game.
It's good. God's good.
Well,
How was your week, Tech?
wasn't like that. Didn't get interviews. So you already got interviewed?
No. They just sent me the questions actually not too long before we got started. That's why I was just reading in here. So I was just kind of looking at the questions.
So when is the interview?
Whenever I send the answers back,
Dang.
I need. All right, but we talk about that off camera. I need pictures. I realize that's the importance of having all your stuff together. I don't got no type of pictures or
Why you gotta
anything.
be extra, bro? Just take a picture with your phone.
Nah,
You
You
need
want
headshots?
Fred.
You need
Take a
headshots?
picture with his- It'll be like chin up. It'll be like,
Fred, he Hollywood now. He
bruh.
don't even answer our phone calls anymore.
All right.
That's
Well,
what's
that's
up.
what's up. Congratulations, Pastor.
Oh,
Your
thank
wife
you.
could do it.
Yeah.
She probably
Yes, let your wife take the stupid.
Let my wife take.
she could do it.
I feel like I gotta have a picture of me playing something.
Like on the. All right,
All right,
I'm
there.
gonna stay out.
You gonna
Yeah.
take one of those?
Stay out your photo
Like you
shoot.
gonna be on the piano like this? They always had his picture like the piano. Nobody said.
Nah,
Nah, I ain't gonna do that. I ain't gonna.
Nobody
All
said.
nope.
All right, freak you guys. Any other news?
That's it.
Oh my gosh, that's huge.
Yeah, it's a blessing.
I don't have any interviews
Yet
Yep. There you go.
yet. I do have some good news. Good news that you guys may not care about yet. All right, random news.
all right.
Melatonin.
Melatonin.
Okay.
Listen, you should not endorse products. This is not an endorsement. Maybe. Yo, I've been taking this melatonin. Melatonin is something that helps you sleep. It's natural.
Okay.
Some people take melatonin. But I've been taking this new like melatonin advance. It's been making me have dreams every night that I take it.
Oh wow.
What?
It's making you. I'm just listening.
Legit. Like some medicines they do, they make you have dreams.
That's weird.
Like that's like one of the side effects.
Oh,
Is
wow.
that one of the side effects? I don't know if it's the side effects of this one, but I know I've taken other stuff
Mhm.
where they list that the side effects is that you'll have wild dreams. I forgot what
So
they
is
said.
it wild? Because you never had dreams before. Every time.
I
you go
mean, I
sleep?
have dreams, but every time I take this, it's like
So
A
what's
wild
the
dream.
extra in it that boosts it? You know
I
that
have no idea.
makes it
Mm.
more than what you get naturally through like chicken or something.
I don't know. I think it's just a higher dose of melatonin, and this one has something in it. But I had a dream and I had a revelation from God
Oh.
Talk, talk to
in
me.
my dream,
Okay.
and I remembered it, and I wrote it up.
Okay.
It. So this is real short. I was somewhere, and a bunch of stuff happened. I don't remember it today,
Mhm.
but I remember it's like God spoke to me about a message, and it was about the 3 insights.
Mhm.
And it was insights on God, insights with God, and insights in God.
Mhm.
And it was insights on God is like the insights you get from studying your Bible.
Mhm.
And then you learn and develop greater insights on God. Insights in God is where your perspective changes in the world. So now you have a different insight in the world because you're walking with God. And then insights with God is the insights that you get from your one-on-one time with God.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You got any more of these pills?
I do. And I woke up, I was like, oh, it was crazy. But
That's crazy.
anyway,
That's tight. That's
that was random. But you, before you guys got here,
Mhm.
so, and I'll make this quick. This is random, but I'm sharing it with you guys because we're all family.
Mhm.
You know, I've been talking to you about doing this media thing.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to do, God's really put it on my heart to do like a media company, create like content, different things like that. And I was really struggling with the name.
Right.
okay.
And we were going back and
Oh,
forth.
okay. Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
was trying to figure out a name.
Yeah.
It hit me like 15 minutes before you guys got here.
Okay.
And I think I'm pretty settled.
Are you gonna
Okay.
share it?
Yes.
Okay. Go. Did you already like lock it down before sharing it
You
Mm.
mean,
on
I-
IG? Or
I mean, by the time this
Okay.
episode was up,
Got you.
Okay.
This happened like 10 minutes ago.
Got you.
It's a bit strange, but it just spoke to my heart.
All right.
Okay.
God's got a plan.
Yeah, he does.
That's it.
Oh, that's what it was?
God's got a plan.
Oh.
Media. And I was thinking,
God's got a plan.
because I was thinking about the uniqueness of people,
Mhm.
right? And I was thinking, I was actually thinking about somebody in particular. I was like, man, I don't even know. And it just hit me like, but God's got a plan. Like, God's like, and it was like, God's got a plan. And it just hit me. I don't know why, though it's strange. I don't know why that speaks to me so much.
Mm.
But to just say this was directed by God's got a plan. This is produced by God's got a plan. And then I think maybe that title would encourage somebody. They may see it somewhere and be like, you know what? God does have a plan.
When you said it in that last way, like this was
Right.
directed by God's God, it hit me. Like that was good. Yeah.
So, God's got a plan. And so,
What's up?
going to be doing a lot more Christian media stuff. So we'll let you guys know as that develops.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's it. I'm excited. Like I said, that was fresh. It was like 15 minutes before you guys got here. I'm trying to think if there's anything else, man. God's just good. I'm trying to be more appreciative, and we'll get that, I guess, into that with our main topic today, where we're talking about worship.
Mm.
But before that, I don't know if we did this last week. I guess we did. But it's time for a hot take.
Hot take.
Okay.
All right, hot take. And this will be a bit rough. We can work our way through this. But there's this new show that everybody keeps talking about. I've been planning to watch it. I have not seen it yet. I actually think I'm going to watch it tomorrow.
Watch it.
On Netflix.
Highly encourage it.
Yeah.
It's called Love is Blind.
Yeah.
Love is
Love
blind.
is blind.
And so I saw part of the first episode. So I think the premise is you don't see the person
Don't see the
Just
No.
talk to him.
and you just talk to them.
Yep.
It's basically like The Voice for relationships.
people.
Except
much.
you don't turn your chair around to the end. No.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So the question is,
Okay.
can you legit fall in love with somebody without seeing them?
So if I may add
Do you think?
that the individuals on the show, they spend a lot of time conversing with one another,
Mhm.
talking with one another. So they are getting to know one another over the course of a few days actually.
Yeah.
But they have all day to do it, I suppose. So
Yeah.
you have 24 hours in a day. So if you lock into one person that you vibing with, you could spend hours at a time talking and getting to know them. So that's a part of it. I think I should add that. It's not
Uh-huh.
just that
Yeah.
you go on like a speed date type situation and then that's that.
They
Mhm.
spend a significant amount of time.
A lot of time.
Yeah, at least at the beginning, yeah.
Okay.
When they're trying to, find out who they want to pursue.
Yeah.
And actually, after I guess 3 days, Fred, they're like 3 or 4 days, maybe the first week,
Yeah.
they're getting engaged, right?
Yep. They like the when
After maybe a week or
Crazy.
so.
they
or
could
less.
just choose like if they I don't think there's no time limit they make them, but I guess like whenever you feel like like, hey, this is who I want to spend the rest of my life with, you could just walk in, and I think some people it was within the first week they just proposed to them.
Yeah.
And did they accept?
Yeah.
Yeah. Before they saw each other. So you
Yeah.
proposing behind still haven't seen each other. And then they had the big reveal of like who you just got engaged to. And
Yeah.
then, I ain't trying to ruin it for anybody who haven't seen it. But
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it.
No, you
tomorrow.
can see at least that part.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
the premise
yeah,
on the trailer. So
okay.
But do you guys think can you fall in love with somebody without seeing them?
I
Because
think
if so, a lot of catfish.
I think so. Yeah, see, yeah, that's nah, because most catfish is done on a site where they're using an incorrect or a wrong picture or false.
All right, sorry about that. We had a little bit of technical issue. Everything just cut off. Sick of Jason's nonsense. What were you saying?
I'm afraid to continue at this point. No, but I do think it's possible. I mean, if the two individuals are spending a significant amount of time getting to know one another, asking questions, you can
Mhm.
fall in love with who a person is. And I mean, you should. I mean, appearance is important, and what's it called? Attraction, physical attraction
Mhm.
is also
Mhm.
important. However, I don't think it should be. I don't know if the word is premium. It shouldn't necessarily be at the top of the list. But getting to know, because looks will fade.
Yeah.
Things could happen in life, but your character,
Mm.
is what remains and what's going to, uh, tell you how the person's going to navigate through life, and those things matter far more. So it shows you who's shallow and who's not. The
Mm.
show does. It really pulls out
It does.
those character flaws when people are trying to hide them, if you will.
But the catfish
Yeah.
would say
Mhm.
that the person that they're talking to is really them. Like if you watch Catfish, they always be like, the picture wasn't me, but everything else was me.
Right.
So
Nah.
yes, the premise is a lie that they're lying and saying that
And that's the biggest thing, though.
What do you mean?
but like they're still getting to know somebody
Right.
without looking at them.
Right.
So it's like catfish. It's
No.
like honest catfish.
No, I think the difference. I think the difference with catfish is that you're starting the premise of the relationship in deception. So
Okay.
like you're not being 100. Like, and I think that's kind of where it kind of falls apart, because like even like they get to know a person when they meet them, they're like, well, the whole basis of us starting the relationship or us talking was on the pretense I thought you was someone else. So
Right.
it's hard to kind of tell somebody, well, it was me the whole time, when like the first words out your mouth or the first presentation of yourself was a lie.
Yeah,
Like
my name is I
yeah.
look like, and
Yeah.
so people fall in love with the idea of the face behind the voice or behind the words,
Yeah.
versus all of that's been stripped away.
But so is this the wave of the future?
I think
Blind
I
dating.
think if it was, it wouldn't be a bad thing. I think it wouldn't be a bad thing. I think it would be better. It's like anti-Instagram. It's like no pictures,
Yeah.
all written or
Yeah.
all,
Yeah.
and people could lie then too, but I don't
Yeah.
know. I think this is better because it's in person.
But
I think-
attraction is a big part.
yeah, but you
Attraction's-
fall, they're falling in love or becoming attracted to what they're hearing and how they're exchanging personal information and how they're opening up to one another. And so, yeah. But do you think it's possible for it?
I do. I think it's possible. Attraction is important, but I think it's possible and necessary, like kind of exactly what you're saying, Jason, to kind of fall in love with someone outside of just the physical appearance. Even though, again, I stress the physical appearance is important, but like those things are, those things will fade. Those things can happen, like you said. So I think it's very important to. I think you can do it. I think that person has to have like in their mind though, because some people don't want to necessarily fall in love or necessarily conscious of that's what they want to do. So I think it's important to kind of have that mentality. Like, I do want to fall in love with somebody on a deep level that goes beyond just a physical. I think it starts with an individual having that mentality too.
Now here's the flaw, in my opinion, in the show.
Okay.
Typically, the producers pick fairly attractive people.
That's a great point.
People who are fairly fit, healthy
Great
lifestyle.
point.
They don't always look like your
Average.
average Joe.
Mhm.
So I think that if they were to do it legit,
Mhm.
you should have people on the show that look like Tech and
That
No,
was-
joking.
That was good.
People
Yeah,
who-
that was good.
Nah, but just
Nah.
people
You didn't
who-
see it coming
who
either.
look like
I was in outer space.
yeah. Like me,
But-
yeah.
like people you see in Walmart, all kinds of different different backgrounds,
Target.
different backgrounds, different what's the word? Income, different types of income, like people who are not necessarily all that together.
Mhm.
I think that would make the pool more interesting.
That's a good point.
Would you agree?
I agree, Jason.
You couldn't see any silhouettes of people with like, oh,
No, there's
I
no
think
way
that
you
would
can
be
fall
cool.
in love with somebody you ain't never seen.
I think you could.
And in the short amount of time that they They're
Well, see-
talking for like 3 weeks.
You don't think
Nah,
so?
they talking less than 3 weeks, bro.
Tripping. The fall in love, real love. I think you can
Mm.
romantically, deeply like somebody.
I think when you come into the like a lot of times we find our spouses not necessarily looking for love. They just come around. A lot of times people find significant others just over time. But when you come into the room with an open heart, with the premise of finding like you're going in with an agenda to
Mhm.
get to know someone for who they are, for you to be as open as possible, because you want the feelings to be reciprocated and for them to be mutual. If you come in with that intent, I think that you open yourself to the possibility of being more attracted and loving someone like for who they are. The intention is different. Like if I'm at work and I see someone who I'm attracted to, one, then there's the attraction,
Mhm.
and then you move forward from there to get to know a person. And then there could be people who you are not necessarily attracted to initially, and you have everyday experiences with them or whatever, and you're like, you know what? That's a cool person.
Mhm.
And then you start pondering, like, you know what? I wouldn't be opposed to dating that person.
Mhm.
But see, so then you have the character first,
Mhm.
attraction second.
I think in
Mhm.
that situation, no, you fall in love with the idea
Mm.
of what you think that person like you and that person most likely have not had a significant argument yet.
Of course.
You
Yeah.
don't know that person's quirk. So I mean, like love.
So you're finding out you should, in my opinion. And there are individuals who are very superficial in their questionings. They're like, "Oh, you
Yep.
got a dog? I got a dog."
We're meant to be together.
It's like some people don't get down to the nitty gritty of the questions. A lot of people are like very superficial in their questioning, and you may see later that doesn't work so great for them.
Mhm.
But again, if you go in, I think if you go in with the idea that you're just going to lay everything out on the table and let the chips fall where they may,
Let the
You-
chips fall where
you
they
got the
may.
opportunity to.
Yeah.
This one guy on the show. He might be in love. He looked too in love. If you ask me.
Yeah, I agree with you. We talking about the same
We
dude?
talking about. There's only one dude who's
Alright.
on there who's like in love.
These
Yeah.
two have
Crazily.
been chatty pattying it up about this show.
Yes,
It's a good show. It's
Yes, girl.
it's a good show.
It's a
Good show.
All right, look, well, I'm a Christian, so I cannot endorse Love is Blind. I know that there's
Wow.
great Jesus shows on that you guys should be watching. The Up Network.
You always that dude, man. I
Yeah.
promise you always that
Hey,
dude.
you should watch Messiah on Netflix.
No.
Hey, did you see Messiah?
I still haven't seen it
You
yet.
gotta
Oh
see
my
Messiah,
God.
yo.
I
Pray
gotta
for
see it.
Jason, okay?
That
Did
joint
you
good.
watch Coming Jesus is Coming for Christmas? On Inspiration?
That don't even sound like it's on Christian Network.
It is.
Are you saying these are real shows and real
you never know. You don't know about the Up Network?
No.
Is this show sponsored by the Up Network?
Hey,
It
bro,
looks
this
like
sucker
it's
fan
sponsored
brought to
by
you by-
Little Caesars.
Boom. At least you got bread. All right.
Only need
Hey.
one.
Yeah,
All
it was
we
funny.
need is one. All right.
I
So-
still have the Up.
I don't know. You guys let us know what you think. Can fall in love without seeing the person? Is love truly
Blind.
I
blind?
got the-
All right. Amen. Pastor Jay's going to hit us with what today is.
Cool. So today is World Teen Mental Wellness Day.
Okay.
What is-
World Teen Mental Wellness Day. I think that's a good day. Because
What
then
is
we
it?
have a comment about what your parents ask you versus
Uh-huh.
what
Oh, teen.
teen. T-E-N.
Oh.
I'm sorry. World Teen Mental
Oh,
Wellness Day.
that's good. That's
Wow.
a good one.
That's deep.
Ask your teens,
Make sure your teen
if
is
you have
good.
teens,
Yeah.
you know, how they are,
Oh,
if they'll open up. And even if they don't, still talk to them.
ask. Okay.
Right?
Bro,
Okay.
was it a big
up?
shocker?
Shocker.
How different were your kids? This is a stupid question.
Yeah, go for it.
From when they were young,
Mhm.
like toddlers, like
Top.
Mm.
4,
Yeah.
5, to when they were teens?
Was it a big difference?
Did they treat you differently?
So I didn't know. I have 2 sons
Uh-huh.
that were from my wife before we got married. So I didn't know them when they were toddlers.
Gotcha.
But my daughter, she's always been hanging around me a lot. So she's been pretty mature. It's been hard to say she wasn't loud or she wasn't a bad
Mhm,
kid.
mhm.
She was pretty quiet. So it's hard to say her like how she behaved. She was a good kid. She was a good kid.
All right, I guess. we'll have
And
to
she didn't
find
give me
out.
too many problems as a young adult. So I was blessed in that regard.
Amen.
Let's see what else we got. We got more. National Banana Cream Pie Day.
Ugh.
Disgusting.
I love banana cream pie.
Oh.
Disgusting.
Yeah, no? You like
I ain't gonna lie, I haven't
bananas?
tried it. I just judged it.
Disgusting.
Best on what?
I just judged
Do you
it.
like bananas?
I like bananas.
Do you like whipped cream?
I like
Ew.
whipped cream.
You like pie crust?
I do.
You like vanilla like pudding or banana
You
pudding?
know how much I love vanilla.
Bro, you like banana cream pie.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what all those things together.
You like
just judged
banana
it.
cream pie.
Do you like grapes?
Yeah,
Do
exactly.
you like barbecue sauce? You like barbecue sauce grapes.
Right.
Okay.
So today is National Old Stuff Day. I don't know what that means.
Happy birthday.
Old Stuff Day. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
And then
That was all right,
National
though.
Dr.
That was all right. That was all right.
National
Wait.
Dr. Seuss Day.
Dr. Seuss.
Dr. Seuss.
Yeah.
Stupid question. Did he pass away? Is he dead?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I only
passed away
read
a while ago.
one Dr. Seuss book. I didn't read a lot of
Dr. Seuss.
Fred used was it Tech used to be a rapper.
Mm.
You want to know what his rap sound like?
What?
Dr. Seuss. Any of his books.
You gonna make me pull
Just
out
just
the-
add
Oh, no.
just add Jesus at the end of every line.
the goose. Got the loose.
Green eggs and ham. Jesus.
Is the man.
Everything was not good. And that's it.
Oh, actually, one
What
more
you got?
thing. Shout out. My daughter's birthday is going to be this day when it airs.
Happy birthday
Hey,
birthday.
happy birthday.
to who? What's your name?
Talia.
Happy birthday to Leah.
Happy birthday to Leah.
I think you
Happy
might be the first
birthday
person to get a
you.
B-Day shout out.
Hey.
Yes,
Hey.
might be.
Send us your birthdays.
Yes.
In March. So we
Send
can
us
shout-
your birthdays. What's today?
So we can shout
Tomorrow's my mama's birthday.
March 3rd.
Oh, really?
March 3rd.
Shout out
Oh,
to
shout out.
My mama.
Miss what?
Happy birthday.
Oh.
Miss Hall. Shout out Miss Hall.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
All right.
Cool.
Well, we got the birthdays, got the days. Getting into the main topic, talking about worship. I like talking about stuff like this because it seems, I think that there is so much in Christianity that we talk about so much that it's like, I think it's easy to assume that we understand it or know like what it means because we've grown up with it our whole life.
Mhm.
And so for me, just thinking back, and I was having a discussion, I work about like worship and worship music, and I realized I have some ought in my heart against worship and not worship like worshiping God, but just like worship music. I find myself ultra cynical, like.
So you gotta let us know. Lay down the foundation.
Yeah.
Like, I think, like, I don't agree with the premise. Like, people would say, like, oh, you're leading us into worship,
Okay.
or like ushering in the presence of God. Like, what does that mean? You're ushering in the presence of God. And like real, that's just talk. That's just Christian.
Lingo.
Lingo.
Yeah, like, and I think we say so much just because we grew up in church and these are the words that we use
Yes.
that we don't really know. And so even
people
like,
don't know what it means to actually do it. Or
yeah,
is it-
and they be like, oh, and they'll say like, somebody's so anointed, and it's like, bruh, all they got is some piano and string.
So you just be in the pews.
I be
Just
hating.
hating.
Like,
I didn't
bruh.
want to use that word.
Be like, but it's just even like if somebody would ask me to play and it's just, bruh, you just want to feel. You just want to feel like you are experiencing something deep.
So
And maybe that's too simple.
So what you're saying, what you believe, this is a question, by the way, is that when people are playing or singing, the thing that I guess is the deciding factor whether or not it is worship or not is what they're feeling, or if they feel anything. Because you saying they're just trying to feel something.
I think this is maybe a bad generalization. I think for most people, I think like we don't really like understand or even have conversations on what worship is, what it means to worship. Like a pet peeve of mine recently, because is for people to say like, "We praise you, God," and that sounds like, but it's like, what does that even mean? We praise you, God. Like, what is the actual praise? I always say it's like somebody saying, "I give you $1 million. I give you $1 million."
Yeah, you've used that one.
But they're not sticking their hand in their pockets. Like,
so we need to exchange those words for actual words of praise or adoration.
yeah, and really look at like, what does it mean to worship God? And I guess throwing it out, like, what does it mean to worship?
You know, it's interesting because I have it Googled right in front of me.
Amen.
And the first two words says the feeling.
You said the feeling?
Yeah, it goes on to say the feeling.
Okay.
And we mentioned feeling or expression of reverence and adoration for a deity or God, the worship of God. So it's interesting that it said the feeling or an expression of reverence. So worship is an expression of reverence. So how are you or how are people expressing their reverence for God? I think that's the question, right?
Yeah, like, what does it mean?
So let's look up reverence.
Worship. Okay. Wow.
Let's go in circles.
Pastor Green.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
You said, so what does it, ask the question one more time?
Like, what does it mean to worship God?
You know, I never really, to be honest, have thought like it deep from a like a definition point of view.
Yep.
You know, I never really thought about it like, okay, to worship God means to such and such and such. It's more of the way I kind of view it or look at it is more of kind of on lines with that definition, but it's more of like a to me, it comes like to acknowledge, and again, this is my first time really had to put in the words, so I never really thought about it. But it's just more of an acknowledgement, taking the time to acknowledge God, in whatever form or fashion, like through music, through prayer, through talking to Him, through silence. You know, if I'm trying to put it into words of something that I express, something that I just naturally express, I would say that just kind of just acknowledging God in a moment. And if I was going to try to put it into some type of words.
Like, I don't know. I often think about like, all right, the way we do worship.
All right, explain that to exactly what you mean for those who are listening. Who
like what I mean, the way we do
exactly
the way we do worship, as far as like, okay,
on
you
Sunday
got
mornings.
on
Sunday mornings, okay.
You got the song. I mean, typically, whatever, you may have 2 fast songs, 2 slow songs. You got the chorus. We're just singing.
Typically, only the slow songs is
referred to the worship songs.
And I guess to be more general, I'll add the whole concept of praise and worship.
Okay.
To the conversation. But it's like, it's just like a concert. Like sometimes I'll hear people say, I need to go to like a concert so I can get like some real good worship in. And it's like, bro, like, how, like, what is the difference? Like, you just want to feel. I feel like, and again, maybe I'm being extra cynical, but I think worship has become a lot more about how it makes us feel than an expression toward God, like what it feels like. Like,
So you saying basically the way we kind of do worship in America is like we just chase more so of like a feeling. That's what it comes down to. It we're chasing a feeling as opposed to focusing on, actually expressing like any type of substance to God in the moment. It's just more so of like, let me get the chords going, let me get the music going, let me feel the tingling feeling, and then that's worship.
Yeah,
and there's no
like
substance.
Good worship. Yeah, there's no substance. I think
the substance isn't even for us. Like, I mean, not substance. Like all of the feelings and stuff. Like I agree with that. I think that maybe we should take a step back and look at how we even approach it from our point of our thinking as to what we're doing. Like, what are we doing? Are we just singing? Are we just playing? Are we just like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Are we just going through the motions? And where's our heart? And how are we directing our words? And how are we directing our music? How are we directing, not as far as like a music, like the direction in which these things are being done? Is it for the sake of the audience? You know what I mean? Like crowd participation. Not that corporate worship is powerful as well.
Yeah.
However, like the direction in which these things are being done, like I think that if we're addressing how, the Sunday morning, I think it has to start at the practice room during the rehearsals and all of those things, like, like making sure that the focus is solely, not that it shouldn't be, everyone definitely should be considered. You're in front of people. That's the platform that you have, excuse me. But definitely like the direction in which these words are flowing and who they're flowing to. I think that's in my opinion, the first step that should be taken towards making sure your heart and mind is realigned, like stripped away from the lights, the cameras, all the extra stuff, and realign with like what are we doing exactly?
Yeah, I wonder, like, have we? Sometimes I think, like, is this what? Not like self-righteously, but like, is this what God wants? Like, is this what Jesus died for us to come together and do like a 20-minute concert each Sunday? And it's just like, is this all that worship is? Because for a fair amount of years,
Right.
and I don't know when it was, and maybe it'd be good to like look at the history of when it changed, when worship became, it's basically,
as long as I've been living, I've known worship, or at least the way what we're calling praise and worship on Sunday, to like every service started this way.
Yeah.
It all started this. Oh, there might have been testimony thrown in there when I was younger, but we rarely even do that anymore during the service. But as long as I've been living, I've known services to run that way.
And I wonder, and again, I could just be being crazy, self-righteous, but I think sometimes because God uses it, and this may not make any sense, but I think because sometimes God uses it, we don't ask, is this what he wants? So it's like, yeah, it does touch people.
Yeah.
Right? And yeah, people can be touched in worship in different ways. We all have had great experience in worship, but like, is this what he uses at times? Yes, but is this what he wants for us to gather together and just have a concert?
I want to read Amos 5 and kind of
I love
speak a little bit to what you're saying.
Say it again.
Amos 5, verse starting at verse 21. It says, I despise your feast days. I do not savor your sacred assemblies. Though you offer me burnt offerings and your grain offerings, I will not accept them, nor will I regard your fattened peace offerings. Take away from me the noise of your songs, for I will not hear the melody of your string instruments, but let justice run down like water and righteousness like a mighty stream. And I'll stop there. I guess kind of to go to, I think there's nothing necessarily wrong with the songs and the string instruments, but like God was basically saying here, it's like you do all of this out of like repetition, and like you were saying, Jason, out of just like, hey, this is what we do. But you know, their hearts wasn't right. Their hearts wasn't in it. They wasn't. You know, there was. You know, their hearts wasn't right. Their hearts wasn't in it. Their hearts wasn't not right with God. So I think, along with worship, I think it's important to have a certain attitude, and I guess to explore that more. Like, what is that attitude? But a certain type of submission and posture, almost like it's a lifestyle. Almost like
to use that word.
Almost like a lifestyle. Like your life is so dedicated to God that, you know, like your life, you know, your everyday life is worship. You know, is pleasing to God. I think that's what God appreciates more, and therefore, because it's a lifestyle thing, when you choose to express it in a form of song or I think God honors that and He loves that. But I think we are deceived if we think that, you know, it's the great, you know, string instruments or piano or the drums that makes, like, God is like us, to where He's excited about the type of chords that we put together and the type of chorus and verse thing that, like, he's more so looking at the person who is singing to me. He's more looking at not the song, but who is singing to me. That's what He hears. That's what He values. I think we kind of get caught up into the song that we're singing, but we lose fact that, like, you know, I'm presenting in worship, I'm presenting myself to Him. And how am I? Am I focusing on that? And I think that's what God is more so focuses on.
So much of our lives are, I don't use the word redundant in nature, in that like what we do every day.
Yeah.
We get up at a certain time daily, we go to a certain place daily. Like our lives are this circle for a majority of it. And because we have this this daily routine that we do, it becomes easy to do it. You know, and the easier a routine becomes, the easier it is to exclude God from it.
That's good.
At times. And when you talk about worship being a lifestyle, it can be difficult. That's why people usually, pray, so I'm going through this, I'm going through that. It's when something interrupts the routine. And now there's cause for prayer, and now we need God's help. But oftentimes people don't look and seek God out when the routine is routine, when it's normal. And I think that worship being a lifestyle would be reintroducing God into your thought life, where you're considering Him in your daily walk, where you're actually considering Him. And like, we go through these things, and you mentioned it, Tech, you were like, does He even want it? It's like, we always eat tacos on Tuesday. What do you mean? You know, like, this is what we do. We always do it. Well, we rarely ask, we rarely seek, because this is the routine. And I think that consideration is just that. It's saying, what do you want? I'm listening.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's a question that we really don't ask as Christians, and that is, what do you want? Because you come in, I feel like you come in, you get saved, you see that this is what has always happened, so you feel like that this is the way that you are a Christian. And I think, like, even like for his point, which I think is so true, like the whole lifestyle thing. I know I'm crazy guilty of it. I mean, people just like argue, get into these huge arguments on the way to church, and then praise and worship starts like, open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Like, you were just yelling on the way there. And I feel like
that's okay too. Like,
I mean, I think we separate I think we separated, but I think God I think he sees our behavior also is an
Absolutely.
expression of worship and,
Oh yeah.
and how we love. And not that we're perfect,
Yeah.
but I think sometimes we're so caught up in the routine that we don't even see that connection. Like we don't even, and I just curious, like, again, like, are we asking, is this what you want?
Well, let me issue a challenge for all the churches, especially the larger churches. Make room for Jesus.
I will
Make room, like
make room for
you have to
you.
be in tune with what's happening.
Yeah.
And where God's moving and how he's moving, and not
Bro.
be so
Program.
and stuck to the program, like, oh, we gotta take offering now. I gotta preach. And if I don't have my full 45 minutes, half hour to preach, then
Right.
I'm not doing my job. But that's not your job. Your job is to make room for God to move how he chooses. So you sit in a lot of major churches, or in my opinion, I've seen it where it's like God's on the clock,
Yeah.
and that's the problem.
Yeah.
It's a big problem. I've even seen it, unfortunately, in music. And like when it's like, all right, next song. This is we're paying for time here. Like not that that's not important, and not that processes and systems aren't important, because they are very important. However, when they become more important than God, then you're just being religious.
I want to get y'all thoughts on this.
Let's go.
Something just hit me. When back in the Old Testament, their form of worship was music and songs, but also sacrifices.
Sure.
Like that was a way of of worship, a form of worship.
Right.
And that's counterintuitive, like to kill an animal, like that was considered worship. And
even there was a requirement for that, though.
there was, but I think even the sacrifice represented, forgiveness of sins, and like almost like kind of what we're talking about, like a lifestyle, and like that was considered worship. And I'm thinking about all the scriptures where it says that, and I'm going to read one. It's a lot of verses that speaks to this, but in Ephesians 5, and it talks about in verse 2 says, "And walk in love as Christ also has loved us and gave himself for us, an offering and a sacrifice to God for a sweet smelling aroma." And I think about that. When I thought about that verse, I thought about, about sacrifices. And, it says that Jesus Christ, his sacrifice was a sweet smelling aroma to God. And it talks about later, it says, present your bodies as a living sacrifice. And going back to how worship, sacrifices back then was considered worship, it kind of goes back to like that lifestyle thing. I think it is something there about how God, like worship. I think I never thought about it. I think we did get wrapped up into the music side of it, and not to say that's not bad, because that was a way to worship God. It plays a role. But I think like if you look at it, worship back in the Old Testament, what God considered worship is, hey, sacrifice. Like sacrifices was a type of worship.
That's deep, because what it reminds me, it makes me think about is, all right, now our worship doesn't cost us anything. And so even though we know that things are different, we don't do sacrifices anymore, but it's almost like a metaphor. We have left,
like a foe.
Yeah, we've left sacrifices to sing songs, because when you were sacrificing something, it was your animal you had to go get. It was your animal you had to kill.
Right.
So it doesn't really cost you anything to get and sing songs. We can sing how great is our God all day.
Right.
But I think to your point, like sacrifice was worship.
Yeah.
And so we live in the Christianity that is not really about sacrifice.
Sure.
It's about what God is going to do for us.
Yeah, the struggle of like Christianity today, not a plug, is it's really like the Christians like not watered down, but like weak Christianity. Like as far as like the type of like nothing bad supposed to happen.
Right, yeah.
Like if something does, if life happens, then it's not of God. Like there's no, like there's no suffering, no pain, no suffering associated with Christianity. Like genie God, everything, no sacrifice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that that's the problem. But I think that a part of that, the lack of sacrifice, or even teaching that, sacrifice is necessary, or what sacrifice looks like. And most of the time when you hear the word sacrifice, unfortunately, it's only attached to giving tithes and offerings.
Yeah.
That's the only time I really hear it or have heard it.
Yeah.
Is when it's sacrificial offering. Now, if this tithe don't cost like like like, but what about our day to day?
Yeah.
Like what about that? So
yeah.
It's interesting. Like, I wonder, going back to the scripture you read, where he's like, when you start singing, I like cover my ears, and I wonder how.
Hold on, wait a minute. When they start singing, don't you play piano for the church?
No, I'm saying God, the scripture.
Oh,
not
I thought it was like,
oh my God!
Myself.
No, but that scripture in Amos, and I wonder how many churches, or how many of us, how many experience where God is going, all right, let me know when y'all done. And then they're just like, whoa, that was such an awesome worship experience. And for the most part, I think if a lot of churches are honest, their worship is routine. They're not even having, I'm sorry, so many aggressive thoughts are coming to my mind. I think that there's two things that sometimes, and just in my opinion, happen with worship. One is your worship is so dry and it's just so routine that it's just the thing that happens before the message. You sing the songs, we keep it moving, and we say that is praise and worship. And then I think it's some people who chase this feeling of feeling like they're having this deep worship experience. Where it's like, okay, I'm going to yell. I'm going to like yell, praying. Not that, I mean, all these things happen sometimes when you have a real worship experience. So I'm not saying that this is a sign that someone's not having room, but I'm going to yell. I'm going to pray in tongues real loud. I'm going to go through all the things that make me feel like, whoo, God is there.
Theater. It's a production. A lot of times it's theater. Yeah. It's a show. People come for the show. Come on. You know that. A lot of times people base their attendance and membership to churches on the production
of the worship. That's very true.
Worship and how the choir sound, how the band sound, how does it? It's really about me.
Yeah.
How do I feel when I leave? That's why I was mentioning earlier about the direction in which we like. That's kind of frightening when I thought about
what
I got a visual of the songs being sung going out to the crowd versus going up to God. Like the worship and the praise, like it was for their approval and their, the high fives, the handshakes after service. Like the worship was going like out versus up.
Yeah.
And it was coming back to like, it was like this cycle. Like, are they pleased? Is the pastor pleased? Like, is the MD pleased? Like, did I get my, and nothing wrong with getting checks, but it's the reason behind it was just, it can be stripped a lot of times.
Yeah. That I always tell a story. I think I even may have told it before in the podcast, but maybe you're a new listener. I guess it's kind of awkward. One of my ex-girlfriend, and we talked about this on the podcast because you guys were there. Threw me a birthday party.
I still got those pants. I had to buy special pants for these parties.
She threw me an all white birthday party which was like, which it took a lot of thought, a lot of money.
Mhm.
Money.
All like it was a live band. All my friends were there. It was catered. It was really, really nice.
It was dope. You got a party
I
like
don't even remember.
MTV Sweet 16.
Yeah, like, it was like MTV.
So it was.
I walked
You
in,
had
I
an
was
entrance?
surprised. I had an entrance.
That was crazy.
I was completely shocked.
Oh, it's coming back. Sorry.
No,
It come
but-
back to me. I can't remember this.
But then in my heart, I am grateful for it.
Yeah.
But I don't. And this sounds bad, but I think like I don't like parties.
Mhm.
Like I don't. And so she ended up throwing me that party. She like parties, and then she ended up throwing like a white party
Right.
for herself. But my point is, I feel like we tend to give the
Mm.
type of gifts that we want to receive,
Mhm.
and I think we do the same thing with God.
Mhm.
We want people like just cheering us on,
Mhm.
or we like you said, this type of
Yeah, here's some. We
Uh,
want the type of.
oh, you got some good is. We want this type of like music.
Mhm.
Like we like good music, so we think
Mhm.
because we like good music, then God likes
Mhm.
good. I mean, I think God does appreciate people
Oh, yeah.
being in key.
Oh, yeah.
But you know what I mean? I think like, and so when you said that about like the praises going out instead of
Mhm.
going
Going up.
up,
Right.
I think like there's a lot of things that we do for us because it's how we would want it that
Right.
we don't consider for God. Like the fact that, and I, and I have to say this to myself too, like the fact that when was the last time really we stopped and thought and said, is this what God even wants?
Mhm.
But it's just what we've always done.
Right.
We've done it this way, and we've never even asked.
Yeah. It's interesting. The pastors are supposed to study, seek God for what to do on Sunday. But as far as the, musicians and the music directors is usually, I don't know what they're doing. And they should be doing the same thing, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And yeah, hopefully they're doing that. But they should be doing the seeking God for the same thing. And
Mhm.
being open to hearing him on the spot. Something changes.
Mhm.
That's one thing I do like about where I am on
Mhm.
Sundays is that
Mm.
it might not be a message.
Mm-hmm.
Even if one is prepared.
Mhm.
Like if God is doing something in that moment, then he takes precedence, over what our agenda might be.
Mhm.
And that's, man, just being open and in tune to where he is, where his heart is going.
Mhm.
And his heart is for the people
Yep.
and for the lost, for
Yeah.
those who are in need, for those who need him. Like, so if I don't get to my song because I'm feeling like, if I'm feeling the urge to pray for something specific,
Mhm.
that should take precedence over that one last song that
We got
has the solo on it that I really like, and the
Mhm.
like, the real epic build up.
Mhm. Yeah.
I just, there's so much
Mhm.
there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I wonder, can we?
Yes, we can.
Yes,
we
can. Like, can we learn how? Can we learn how to worship without a melody,
What you mean?
without a song,
Like a set melody?
or just without a song? Like if God said,
Yes.
"Worship me without a song,"
Yeah.
Okay.
or without, and if I'm gonna be ultra surreal and deep, without words.
Yeah. Love.
And and that's like I think we need to be maybe thinking even more in that way because so much we just think of worship as a song,
Yeah.
or we just think of worship as saying I worship you,
Yeah.
which is for some reason as a late drive me crazy. But it's like, worship, like you said, is sacrifice.
Yeah.
It is. I am doing this like right now. I'm not Catholic, but right now is Lent. And I don't know, but the concept of giving up something
Mhm.
in reverence for God,
Mhm.
I think is a good concept.
Mhm.
Yeah. That, man, I don't even talk about Lent because people be giving up the oddest things.
Yes, yes.
The oddest things.
But I think it is. I think we need to really think about the way we worship
Mm.
and how we approach it.
Mm.
I did want to mention one thing which I thought was interesting, and which at one point helped me in worship. But if I'm being honest, I forgot about it. Stopped doing it.
What's that?
There's this scripture in 2 Samuel 22.
Okay.
And it stuck out to me, and I'll tell you why after I read it. It's a fair amount, but I'll tell you why it stuck out to me in a second. This is David talking. This is the victory song of David. So starting at 2 Samuel 22, 2 Samuel 22, starting at verse 20. It says, "You brought me out to a spacious place. You delivered me because he delivered me because he delighted in me. Yahweh rewarded me according to my righteousness, according to the cleanness of my hands. He recompensed me. For I have kept the way of Yahweh. I have not acted wickedly against God. For all his ordinances were before me, and I did not turn aside from his statute. I was blameless before him, and I kept myself from iniquity. Yahweh has recompensed me according to my righteousness, according to cleanness, according to my cleanness before his eyes. With the loyal you act loyal. With the blameless you show yourself blameless. With the pure you show yourself pure." I'm gonna jump down. Let's go. I'm gonna jump down to 34. "He makes my feet like a doe, and my high places he set.
A bucket.
My high places he has set me. He trains my hands for war, so that my arms may bend a bow of bronze. You have given me a strength of salvation. Your willingness to help me has made me great. You have broadened my steps beneath me. My ankles have not wobbled. I pursue those who hate me, and I destroy them. I did not turn back until I finished them all. I wiped them all out. I smashed them. They did not get up. They fell under my feet. My enemies you caused to retreat from me. I beat them like fine dust." So anyway, there's like this whole thing. And so what stood out to me is to me, it could almost sound arrogant. Like he's like, I beat my enemies like fine dust. I crushed them under my feet. He goes on to say like, people respect me when I walk in the room. And sometimes, I know for me, and we talked about this in different ways, it's weird to acknowledge the good things, the things that you're good at, and the things that you do.
Yeah.
But I think from this, it showed me like this was worship to David. David was saying, "Yo, I crush my enemies. Like I beat them to dust because you have been good to me." And so I think it's sometimes we have to acknowledge the good things that we do, the good things that are going on in our lives, the things that we do well, because that is God's grace in our lives. But in the desire to not be arrogant, we're so easily to say, and we view worship as, "God, I'm just trash, and you just love my trashness." And it's like we're so easy for us to view ourselves bad and to trash ourselves.
Unworthy.
Because it makes us feel, oh, we're humble. We know we're no good. But God is killing. God has done some great things in your life. You're blessed. This is the blessing that I have.
As a result.
Because of God.
Hey, so you need to start writing some songs.
Huh?
You need to start back writing your songs, bro.
I am a friend. Okay.
That's not the one.
But that's the thing. But does it gotta be a song?
I mean, but song. It doesn't have to be a song. But I mean, you talk about David, who wrote every like the most books,
Right.
and that was his interpretation. And of course, when we looked at the definition of worship, it was that was David's form or his expression of it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, words can translate emotions and feelings. Music, you can create feeling and emotion through music as well. So you can like there's a form of or an expression that that God has given all of us. You know, whether with me it might be artwork.
Mm-hmm.
It could be anything, but I think that it doesn't have to be words. It doesn't have to be music per se. It can be a number of expressions, and I think that's the genius of God being displayed is that worship can be expressed in a number of ways, but it can also be expressed to the wrong thing. You know, I think as long as we go back and at the end of whatever you're boasting about, that you're boasting in Him, like your boast is, you know, whether you're saying, you know, I'm amazing at what I do, you know, because of, you gotta, as long as it has that because of, and that because of is the highlight, and you always are redirecting people back to Him, and our worship goes back to Him, and it doesn't say us like we're mirrors, like we should be constantly reflecting, be a reflection of His goodness, of His grace. I think, and I think that's what God really wants to. I think He wants to use us. I think He wants to use us as tools to boast. Like, look at my kids.
Right.
Look at them.
Yeah.
And we're going to do the same. I mean, if we have the right heart and mind to do, we should be able to do like, yo, it's because of my dad. It's because of my father.
Yeah.
You know, and that testimony and those testimonies and that word of mouth and that whatever we're doing will draw, is a part of the drawing. Because he said, if I be lifted up.
Right.
So this boast, I crush my enemies. When I walk in the room, if I be lifted, well, who's David's? Who is David serving? You know, if you look at Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, you know, they were walking around in the fire. They didn't smell like smoke. It's like, well, we worshiping that guy. Who's your God?
Right.
Same thing with Daniel. Was your God able to save you?
Right.
Yeah, I had to use them as pillows last night, actually. You know, so as long as it's, you know, reflecting back to it, there's nothing, I agree with you, there's nothing wrong with boasting.
Yeah.
And who He is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think even the context that it looks like David was doing it, and not necessarily that we will go outside and say that type of stuff.
Maybe we should.
And maybe, you're right, maybe you should.
Viral videos.
I think, though, we don't even say that in our
own
in our own prayer time.
Yep.
Like, we don't even acknowledge,
That's a
like,
good point.
yo, this opportunity has happened to me. People view me this way.
Yeah.
I'm able to do this because of you. It's like we don't even do that because we feel like, you know, oh no, God, I ain't there yet. I haven't right. But no, like,
beat ourselves up a little.
Yeah, and we feel like beating ourselves up is worship. And we're like the people that
they do that, don't they? They like beat themselves.
Yeah, we're like the people that Elijah was, you know, they thought that that the more they beat themselves and cut themselves, that God would show up. It was like,
no,
I know, like God has been crazy good to us, and sometimes you got to acknowledge that. Come on, brother.
Hey, go ahead. That's all I know. Nah, go ahead.
I mean, no, I think it's true. Pastor Green. Any closing thoughts?
I don't know if it's gonna make it longer, and I don't know if it. But just really quick, do you think it's the responsibility of a church as far as worship, like as far as that mentality that we're talking about, that's like the standard? You think it's the responsibility of the church? Because we're talking about worship is more so, kind of get what I'm saying. It's like more has to do with the individual, and so do you think if, let's say, the praise, I'm just kind of get a picture of like a visual, like the praise and worship team, every individual up there worshiping and praising God, and they're just they're using their gifts, because usually people on praise and worship team, that's their gift, and they're using, that's their expression towards God. So I feel like, do you think it's the church responsibility of the standard? And I don't know if we're saying this for that, like worship is to be done that way, or is it just, okay, this is a gathering of believers. You know, we're coming here, even though we're supposed to be getting word outside of Sunday, but hey, we're gathered. We know that we're coming to get a word from a pastor.
Sure.
Then also, which is nothing wrong with that, but then also we're gathering here to sing songs together corporately,
Right.
towards God. So do you? I hope y'all understand the question, because I started to think about like that. Do you think it's the church's responsibility to have like is it the reason why we keep doing it, like praise and worship, this song is because it's not about, it's not our responsibility, like that is, do you think, y'all get what I'm saying? Like,
I think so. And if I understand, me personally, I think it's both.
Okay.
I think it's church responsibility, because I think churches will become together as a community. And I think because so many people are there at that point in time and they're coming to hear, I think that's a great opportunity to show them what worship is, so that they could take that home and do it. I think it's not the church's responsibility on the side that, like, we put that so much has to happen at church. So much has to happen on Sunday morning. Like, it's really nothing wrong if we want to get together and have a Christian concert and just sing songs to Jesus. I think the problem is that we have defined that as praise and worship.
Okay.
So, I mean, I think in my opinion, if everyone understood praise and worship and we were all like having like genuine, our own worship thing with God, and Sunday was just where we come to sing songs, I think it's fine. I think we would just have to acknowledge that that's what it is. Like, God is so good that every Sunday we decide to have a concert. But I think the fact that we have defined what we do on Sunday as worship, when really is not, I think is the issue for me, if that makes sense.
That makes sense. So you think that we should just, maybe as a church, we could kind of expand what worship is?
Yeah, I think
like the definition, like because I don't hear it talk about, like, this was a great conversation. Like I really never really thought about it, and just expanding the conversation, because when you hear worship, immediately I'm thinking about
A flat.
Yep. I'm thinking about the one chord, thinking about
or
guitar.
the four.
Or the four.
The four is the worship
four
chord.
worship chord. Hey, that's music geeks. All right, go ahead, Jason. I'm sorry.
No, I agree with. I think that so. I think that the question was, does the church have a responsibility in that? So I think the church does have a responsibility in that you have a pastor who is known as a shepherd, who's a guide, who gives instruction, who helps teach and expound on the word as people grow on their own. Unfortunately, most of us probably don't do a lot of digging into the word on our own. But I mean, that's kind of the training ground for Christians is the church.
Yeah.
So they do have a responsibility. We do have a responsibility to teach, to help grow one another, to help challenge one another, to help get a deeper revelation of who God is and what He desires from us in worship specifically. So in short, yes, I think the responsibility is the church. I think that we should expound, like we did tonight, a little bit onto what worship is on Sunday morning specifically. Singing is something we can all do together. I don't think it should be the gist of worship.
Yeah.
I think that other forms of worship, or expressions, I should say, of worship can be done either on Sunday or outside.
Yeah.
But I think those areas should be definitely expounded upon. I would love to see Sunday morning look like painters over here, dancers over here, people like just as many corporate, I don't say corporate, everyone
Yeah.
can't have a palette and paint, but many expressions of worshiping all happening at once. And try to create, I guess, man, what would heaven feel like when we, like, like just many expressions, you know, with the death are signing, like they're just as much, you got the people doing the flags. I don't know. We could throw those away, but those are, there's a many,
agree.
we can wave our hands, but the flags are a little scary, but just many, we can expound on our expressions of worship, and those expansions of or expressions of worship don't necessarily have to be done on a Sunday. They can be done on days throughout the week. Just depends on, we can come together based on our gifts of expression. And so, you can have the poets. I mean, there's so many ways we can, but it just doesn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We can, and you can practice your gift, or working your gifts, developing your gifts of worship. And we could call it worship. We don't have to necessarily call them talents.
Right.
Like, this is your talent. No, your talent can be a form of worship as well.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's something that's considered.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amen. Amen. That was good. Let us know what you guys think. What do you guys think about this conversation on worship and the way we do worship? Do you guys think it's right? Do you guys think it's wrong? Do you guys think we could do it better? Hit us up. Let us know. Disrupt the Faith Podcast at gmail.com. Also, Disrupt the Faith Podcast on YouTube and Facebook. And if you're watching this, hit a like and subscribe. Hit the bell for the notification. If you're listening to this on Podcast World, preferably you subscribe. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. And if you know someone who could benefit from this, that would be a blessing if you go ahead and share. And if you've not left us a wonderful review, please leave us a review. Let us know what you think. Use your words, as I tell my young ones. Use your words. All right, you guys be blessed, and we are out. Hope you guys enjoyed that conversation. Let us know your thoughts below in the comment section. If you haven't subscribed already, hit that bell. Make sure you do so. If you want more conversation like these, go ahead and hit the video. Hope you guys are blessed. See you next time. Also, if you want, you can catch us on Spotify, Apple Music, and wherever you catch fine and great podcasts like these. All right, you take care. Be blessed.